So as you guys most likely already know, Kemper just announced the Mark II version of its legendary amp profiler. Now the opinions about this new unit are very divided. There are people who are really happy about this and excited about it, and there are also people who are disappointed about it as well. So in this episode, we're going to get into all that, so let's get started. Well, thanks for joining me for another video. I'm going to try to keep this as candid and as quick as possible. So I've been a little out of the loop making videos lately because I've been busy with my pressure washing business. I'm washing 150 apartment buildings this year, and yeah, I'm slammed to say the least. So you'll see me get darker and darker as the season goes on. I'll be getting more and more tan, you know, because I'll be out in the sun all day. Anyways, enough of that. So anyways, as you know, Kemper announced the new Mark II version of their Kemper Profiler the other day. And I predicted this a year ago when prices started dropping, and I've also done other videos where I wasn't happy with the profiling process of the Kemper. I just felt like it needed an update, and I was saying emphatically that Kemper needed to make that update and change the algorithm and update it and improve it because it was very inconsistent and I struggled with it quite a bit. We'll get into more of that in a minute here, but I mean, and besides all that, other products have surpassed it. I mean, you got Quad Cortex, you have NAM, you have ToneX. So those products have definitely surpassed the Kemper regarding accuracy and also consistency. You know, I have to say that as a guy who has a website, tonewars.com, where you can get tons of awesome metal captures and cleans for any of the digital platforms out there. So coming from a perspective of someone like myself who makes, you know, captures and profiles and presets for all these digital platforms, I started kind of like getting disillusioned with the Kemper from that viewpoint, you know, because every time I came down here and started doing profile packs with the Kemper, I mean, it was a crapshoot whether or not they were going to come out good or be consistently good. And for a while, I struggled through it, and then after a while of doing that, I just decided, you know what, if I can't get this thing to profile an amplifier properly, or at least up to my standards within about 10 minutes, I'm just going to scrap the project and move on to other things. So after several sessions that ended up that way, I ended up shelving the Kemper for a long time and became disillusioned with it. Because as much as I liked the effects and all the other offerings that the Kemper had, I just got tired of working with it from a profiler standpoint because it was just very frustrating at times. Now, I will say, when the profiles came out good, they came out really, really good, which I'll prove to you in a minute here. I do have a lot of great profiles with it, but when I can come down here and plug in the Quad Cortex and not have any issues with the profiling session that I'm doing, I'd rather work with that. Same with ToneX, same with the NAM profiler and all that. So, I mean, it just became a thing with me where it's like, which tool do you want to work with today? Well, I want to work with the one that works and is consistent. So anyways, that's why you haven't seen a lot of Kemper content on my channel, because I just, like I said, just shelved it because I got tired of working with it regarding the profiling aspect. Now again, with the effects and the other things that the Kemper offers, it's freaking amazing, and in a minute I'll show all that to you. And I was kind of shocked at how great it was last night when I set it up for today's episode. I was down here last night and, you know, dialing in some stuff and refreshing some things for this episode. And I was like, holy crap. I forgot how great this thing was regarding all of the effects and all that kind of stuff and the flexibility. And the profile I picked for today's episode is of the Purple Nightmare. And I forgot how good that turned out as well. I mean, man, this thing sounds incredible. So if you want to get that pack, it's on my website, so look for it. I think it's the Ultimate Brutal Profile Pack on my Kemper section of my website. Just look that up, make sure the Driftwood Purple Nightmare is listed in there, and get that pack. It's amazing. So anyways, I know you guys have already heard all of the stuff from other YouTubers regarding features and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go over a couple of things for you, and then we'll get on to some other stuff, you know. So basically, the stuff that really meant a lot to me was, you know, the fact that you can have 20 effects now in your signal chain. That is freaking incredible. The boot up time is only 20 seconds, so that's really cool. The other thing that really said a lot to me was the accuracy regarding the profiling. Profiles now analyze more than 100,000 individual frequency points to deliver the highest level of sonic accuracy possible. And then, of course, you get the liquid profiling as well. So I think that is amazing. And that's what I've been begging them to do for the last couple of years now. I even did a video about it about a year ago. I'm like, man, this needs to stop. They need to upgrade this the profiling process, because in the other units you don't have to refine your profiles. I mean, the algorithm does all that for you, and they're a lot more consistent, like I said earlier. And I just got, like I said, I got tired of it. But from a guitar player standpoint, I think the Kemper is still amazing. You know, I mean, if you get a couple of good profiles in there, which I'm sure you can easily do, and then you set it up with all the effects and with morph and all that kind of stuff. I mean, man, this thing is freaking amazing. So I'm going to show you this preset that I have here. I got five, well, I actually have 5 presets on here on my stage, and I'll go through each one. Some of them I have morph on them, so I'll go ahead and go through that. So this is, again, the Driftwood Purple Nightmare profile I made. And let's just hear that, and I'll morph that into, which I always call it Big Crunch, because it's got delay and chorus on it. So I'll start out with the dry version, and then I'll morph into the Big Crunch version as well. I mean, that sounds incredible. So I also have a lead preset here, which has 2 different kinds of delays on it. It's got a delay without the modulation on it and a delay with it. I'll start out with it off, the modulation off, and then I'll switch to, I'll morph into the one with the modulation on. So that sounds incredible. And then I have a nice clean channel here with some delay and reverb on it. That sounds incredible. And then I have a reverse delay. And then, of course, my piezo, which I have a morph on there. So I start out with more of a kind of a studio sound with a little bit of reverb. And then when I morph into the bigger version of that, I got a lot of reverb. So this sounds incredible as well. So let me flip on the old piezo, and here we go. And now I'll switch into the bigger version. You can hear the reverb kind of growing here, so check this out. Man, that just sounds glorious. I could literally go on stage with this whole get up right now and be completely happy, you know, and it just sounds killer. So like I said, if you come up with some great profiles that you like, I mean, the effects and everything else with the Kemper, the morphing, the flexibility and all that kind of stuff will definitely not let you down. In fact, it'll probably blow you away. I mean, this unit is incredible. It really is. And again, just to reiterate, the main issue I had with the unit was coming from a profiler's standpoint, someone who makes profiles for a living and sells them on the, you know, a website, and it just became very frustrating to work with, you know, for me. So that's why I kind of shelved it for a while. But Doing this episode and prepping for this episode has definitely reminded me about all of the good things that Kemper has had to offer over the years, and it gave me a whole new appreciation for that. All right, so now let's get into what people are talking about on the internet about the new Mark II release. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw the video and I saw pictures of it, I was like, oh my God, they still have that freaking screen, that stupid Motorola antiquated Game Boy screen with, it's not a touch screen. I mean, let's face it, everything has a touch screen now, including your phone, your fridge, I mean, your TVs, all that kind of stuff. They all have it now pretty much. And it's one of those things that we're used to now. And so at first glance, I was tempted to get kind of pissed off about the fact that it didn't have that. And I'm like, why? Why are you coming up with the Mark II after 11 years? And it still looks pretty much the same, and it still has that interface and that stupid screen on it. That was my initial thought. But I have to tell you, after dialing in my Kemper last night for this episode and using the app, I was like, you know what? Screw that screen and screw the interface on the Kemper. I don't even care anymore because I'd rather use my app anyways. I have a little stand that Carrie uses when we're live, and I just put my iPad in that. And I was just up here just dialing stuff in, or you can use your phone, So what would you rather do? Dial in your Kemper with a phone app or an iPad app that your iPad's on a stand or a holder or whatever, or bend over and do this all freaking day? I mean, what would you rather do? I'll tell you what, I'll take the app any day. So I don't care about the interface. I really don't give a shit about the interface at all. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to use it anymore anyways, because I'd rather use the app. Instead of putting out a yoga mat and going out on the floor and doing freaking yoga contortion twister to freaking make adjustments on my Kemper. I don't want to do that anyways, especially at my age. So I'd rather use the freaking app. And the app's really easy to use. Now, speaking of the app, one thing I'd like to see them do is make it so that you can tap whatever knob you're trying to turn, and then maybe a little thing pops up just like it does on the NANO Cortex, where you have like a number and a little keyboard where you can type in the number that you want to put in there instead of twirling around a digital picture of a freaking knob. You know what I mean? And it's good that they put the number at the bottom, so when you're covering up the number on the knob, you can still see, but it's still kind of a bitch, I know, first world problems, right? But it's still kind of a bitch when you're twirling around this knob and trying to land on, 57 or 50 or whatever. And you always, as soon as you lift your finger off, sometimes the knob moves again. You're like, oh, son of a bitch. So it would be cool if you could just tap the knob and a little screen pops up and allows you to type in a number and hit OK or whatever. So that's the one thing I'd like to see them change. Also, I could be wrong on this, but it would be nice too where you can assign effects to some of your foot switches down here with the app instead of doing it on the Kemper as well. That would keep me from doing yoga on the floor as well. But hey, if they don't do that, I'm still okay with that because it only takes a second. But hey, while I'm making a video about this stuff, I might as well mention it, right? So, but other than that, I really think that the app is fine. And you know what's funny is people complain about the interface, and they're the same people that if it did come out with an amazing touchscreen interface, would be like, where's the app? So it's like you can't make everybody happy. And let's face it, if I had my choice between Kemper releasing a new Kemper with a touchscreen and none of the other things, or for them to release the Mark II with all of these features that it has now, on top of that with the amazing upgrade on the profiling algorithm, and still have the antiquated screen and interface, I'll take that any day. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I'd rather have a Kemper that sounds better, offers more effects, more flexibility, more features and stuff like that, and I could dial it all in with my app. I'd rather have that than the touchscreen. So, and on top of that, if they did spend all their time on the touchscreen and all that kind of stuff, how much longer would we have to wait, A, and B, how much more would it cost? So I think they did the right thing and prioritized the proper things on the Mark II. Now that's my opinion. I want to see what your opinion is in the comment section below, but you know, I think that's the two things that are the big standouts for me are more effects, longer signal chain, and more flexibility with all that, and the updated algorithm. Because like I said, that was my biggest bitch with the Kemper, was that algorithm. It just took forever. You had to refine everything. It was very inconsistent. I've had many discussions with my friends and on this channel about it, but I'm glad that they updated that, and I'm looking forward to getting mine. Yes, I am going to order one, because why not? I make profiles for a living, and it's great for my channel to have the content and show you guys stuff, and I will shoot it out with my stage that I have. I'm ordering the new stage Mark II, so I'll shoot them out regarding flexibility and all that, but I'm going to mainly shoot them out regarding the profiling aspect and see how much better the new profiling algorithm is. So stay tuned to the channel for that. So before I play a mix for you guys with my setup here with the Kemper Stage Mark I, let me know what your thoughts are on the Mark II. What are you happy about? What are you disappointed with? And all that kind of stuff. Also, what are your thoughts on the fact that they hid all that stuff in the new Kemper player all this time? And and everybody that's got a Kemper player is going to be really happy, because they have a Mark II already in there, and I think that's really badass. And if I remember correctly, it's a free upgrade, so that is freaking kick-ass. So now the Kemper player will do profiling with the new algorithm, so I think that's going to be awesome. And there's two questions that I have too. Maybe one of you guys, or 100 of you guys, will be able to answer this for me in the comment section. I wonder if the new Mark II Kempers will be able to play the old profiles, you know, from the Mark I era. And I also wonder if the Mark Is will be able to play the Mark II profiles. You know, so if you make a profile on the Mark II, will that be compatible with the Mark Is? Will those people still be able to purchase those and play those on the Mark Is? That's what I'm wondering. I kind of doubt that will happen regarding the Mark II profiles working on the Mark I versions, but I mean, I could be wrong. Anyways, let's hear how amazing this thing sounds with these awesome profiles and effects in a full mix. Well, you can tell I haven't been practicing. That was a little sloppy, but it's going to have to do for this video. But I thought it sounded amazing. It definitely sounded better than I did. I'll put it to you that way. But anyways, I hope you like that warts and all mix there. But yeah, I think the Kemper sounds great. And I also think if this new profiling algorithm works as good as they say it does, this thing's going to sound better than ever. I mean, when you combine that with all the new flexibility, the longer signal chain, and the effects that it already has that are amazing, I just think the Kemper is going to definitely reclaim its territory in the digital world. So what do you guys think? I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. And again, if you're looking for some amazing profile and capture and preset packs, go to my website linked below and get some for yourself. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. To all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, thank you guys so much. And if you're new to the channel and you don't want to miss further episodes or live streams, make sure you subscribe and click the bell so that you don't miss notifications. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.